in this part of demonstration, what are the different things we are going to discuss is about the data, how OBIEE project is going to initiate it. For example, we
Okay.
have a business for the one of the customer, and the customer wanted to why the customer wanted to go with the OBIEE product and how the OBIEE project will be initiated. For this step,
Okay.
in the back end, what are the different aspects will be done. So once the OBIEE project is started, what will be happen in the back end, how the whole process will be going to started. These things we are going to discuss about. Usually for any customer wanted to analyze their business. For example, he is be having a business in globally around the world. He can able to have the business, and he wanted to analyze the business in the different locations and the different time intervals, different quarters and the different years and different months, and on the different products, on the different customers. He wanted to analyze the business and the different perspectives. So all these four perspectives can be called as the requirements of the business, and these requirements can be gathered by the on-site manager or someone else, on some manager or the project manager who will gather these requirements from the customer, and they will create a document called business requirements document. This business requirement document can be gathered depending on the requirements of the customer and the analysis of the source data. What are the data customer is having at the moment, as part by analyzing the data and by looking into the by talking to the customer, having what are the requirements, and they can able to prepare a document called business requirements document. And once this project is initiated and he wanted to go with the one of the reporting tool which has to be populate all the reports in an interactive manner. So for that, there are different types of reporting tools available in the market called OBIEE, and like Cognos, etc. There are different types of Tableau recently, and we have different types of reporting tools available in the market. And before going with any of the reporting tool, he will be asking for the developers or the team or development team to do a POCs called proof of concepts, and whether this product, whether this tool is going to fulfill his require any of the typical requirements or not. And then he will just choose those. He will just ask for some POCs, and once we provided the POCs and demonstrate the POCs to the customer, then he will go with the OBIEE product. This is what happened in the OBIEE, and why we go with the OBIEE is to take a better decision. We will be creating a decision making system using this OBIEE reporting tool, and we provide the reports in a timely manner to the customer, and he will be analyzing his business, and he is able to take a better decision to run his business in a profitable manner. And once this project is started, let us say, and how this data is populating for this project, from where this data is coming on. For example, if you take any manufacturing on a manufacturing company called a pharmaceutical company, if you take any pharmaceutical company, that pharmaceutical company is going to manufacture the different products like injections, salines, syringes, and some powders, some chemicals. They can be manufactured and they can able to sell around the world. They can able to uh, 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 actually they can able to dealer, or they can able to sold those products around the world. For example, there is a pharmaceutical
Okay.
pharmaceutical company, and this company is going to manufacture the different types of chemical products like different for the different diseases, let us say. And once they manufacture these products, what they have to do, they will be deliver these products to the different regions, to this particular region dealers. There will be dealers available in the different regions, and like from countries to counties, and counties to states, and different types of areas. This will be these manufactured products will be delivered. And for example, this where these actually these medicines can be available is this. At the end of the day, the medicines can be reached to the store in a particular street of a city. The medical store, can be able to uh, buy or sold these products to the different customers. For example, if any of the customer goes to the any of the purchase any of the customer goes to the medical store and he try to buy any some products, then medical storekeeper will generate a bill, and he will give that bill to the particular customer, and the bill will having the some particulars. The particulars are like bill number, bill date,
Mhm.
customer name, and location, and product what he buy, and quantity how many products he buy, and price of the product.
Mhm.
Actually this bill will be having different types of information like bill
Yeah.
number, bill date, customer name, location, product, quantity, and price. This is also called as invoice, and this type of particulars will be having in the bill. And for
Mhm.
example, one of the bill details will be like this: bill number 123. Just example, 2015 June 1st. The customer name is some XYZ or Blake,
Mhm.
and the location is, let us say, New Jersey or New York, and
Mhm.
product paracetamol, and quantity you buy 10 tablets for the cost
Mhm.
of $10, let us say.
Mhm.
This is information you will be having on a bill actually,
Mhm.
and this is generated in one of the medical store in the New York location, in the
Yeah.
city, in one of the street, let us assume. For example, if you can take within the New York City, we will be having many cities, and we will be having many stores.
Mhm.
And the same way, in the America, we will be having different cities like New York, New Jersey, Alabama, Atlanta. There are different types of cities, and they can also able to have the different medical stores. And then if we can take it as a country level, these are all in the America region, America country, USA, United States of America. And the same way we will be having in the Canada, Japan, China, India, different types of countries we will be having this medical stores. And if you can, for example, if you can take in the America region, they are maintaining. So at the end of the day, the bill details which generated by the storekeeper, it has to store in the one of the area. That area can be called as a source system.
Mhm.
Where this data is available is, for example, this data is going to store into the computer. The computer might have a different types of storage mechanism. For example, in the USA, they are maintaining the Oracle as a database to store these details. Assume that. And UK, they are maintaining the Teradata is a database to store this
Mhm.
particular these particular bill details. And let us say in the China, let us assume that they are maintaining the MySQL as a database to store this data. And in India, they are maintaining. Let's assume that they are maintaining the uh, IBM DB2. Let us assume. And let us say in some other country in Japan, they are maintaining the flat files, Excel or text files. Let's assume that this is, they have the pharmaceutical companies have the sale and the sales in different countries,
Yeah.
and the different companies are using the different types of sources, different types of databases to store these details. On a day-to-day basis, we will be they will be having the transactions, and they're keeping these transactions into the different storage areas. Oracle database, Teradata in UK, MySQL in China, India in IBM DB2, and Japan in Excel and text. Assume that the customer will not go, the pharmaceutical company owner or the owner customer will not go to the each of the location. He will not do the reporting on each of the different databases in the different locations. What he wanted to, he wanted to collect all the data, he wanted to extract all the data into the one of the centralized location. The
Mhm.
centralized location can be called as data warehouse. A centralized location can be called as data warehouse. Data warehouse is
Okay.
also a database, but but this database or the data warehouse will have a some set of tables designed. Those tables will be having a meaningful information and a structured tables, and these tables are in the relational database. These are all, that means the tables are in relational model. They will
Yeah.
related. On how they are related is, there are different types of primary keys and foreign keys on the tables. Depending on these primary key and foreign keys, they can able to relate it, and how they are able to extract the data, and how they are able to load it into the centralized location, that is warehouse. That there is a concept called ETL is comes into the picture. The ETL can be called as extract, transform, and load. They are able to extract the data by connecting to the different source systems in the different locations, and they are able to transform the data as per the business logics and as per the business requirement. They can able to transform the data, and they will keep it in a meaningful order and meaningful data. They can able to load into the warehouse system. So there are different types of ETL tools available in the market, like Informatica, which is in Informatica, and recently we have ODI, and we have Abnisio in data stage, etc. We have different types of ETL tools are available in the market, and these can able to connect to the any type of the database, any type of the data source, because they will be having a corresponding in bridge drivers are available in these ETL tools. Using those drivers, we can able to connect to the Oracle, Teradata, MySQL, IBM DB2, Excel, etc. Different types of databases they can able to connect using these ETL tools. And once they connect, they will extract the data. Extracting is nothing but they will we will be having some select statements to extract the data from these different source systems, and these will be transformed. There are different types of transformations can be applied. Why we have to transform? For example, if you can take the customer name Blake, at the time of entering into the system, the storekeeper may be entering it in a wrong manner. Let us say B star, L star, S star, K star. By mistake, he may enter the name in wrong manner. So to avoid this, what we have to do, we have to trim this Blake name. We have to remove the stars from the Blake, because then only it has a meaning. For that, we will be having apply the expression transformation in the Informatica. So using these different types of transformations, we are able to transform the data from the existing state to new state. The new state will be having a meaningful, and we can able to transform the data, and we can able to load it into the warehouse system. So at the time of loading into the warehouse system, to which table we have to load it, and what is the table, how to design the table. That is where we have a concept called data modeling.
Mm-hmm.
That is where we have a concept of data modeling. How to load into the table, where into the warehouse, centralized location. How to structure the centralized location. What are the tables has to be placed, and what are the columns in the tables has to be designed. This is called data modeling design. The modeling of the warehouse can be called as data modeling, and this we will be having a different types of tables, and how to identify what is the dimension table and what is the fact table. As per the data modeling techniques, we will be having the dimension tables and fact tables. The dimension tables can have the dimensional data, that is the table that will be having the primary key column, and it will describe something about an entity. An entities, every data warehouse will have some entities. How they able to define the design the table is, they will be identified first. The entity will be identified. Entity is nothing but a real time object, a real world object. For example, if you take in the how they are able to design the data model is depending on the customer requirement, and depending on the analysis on the source databases. They will do the analysis on the source database data, and they will analyze the requirements of the customer, and then they will take a decision to build a data model and to design a table. For example, among this is one of the source data. On top of this, how can able to build a different a small data model? How can we build a small data model is, if we can take bill. Bill is in a real world entity, because bill is existing in the real world. Bill is an object in the real world, and it is existing, so we can able to consider it as an entity, and I'm going to take it as an entity. And this entity, I can able to define some attributes. Attributes are nothing but the columns in the data warehouse, and an entity can be converted into a table. And first the analysis phase of to design the data model, first they will be identify the entities. The entities is nothing but a real world object, and we have a bill as an entity, and bill can be having the different particulars or different attributes, bill ID
Mhm.
and bill number or bill and bill date and bill by bill bill to and bill location, etc. We can able to add different types of attributes to this particular dimension, particular entity. So how,
Mhm.
and as part of the attributes analysis, by analyzing these attributes we are able to take a decision saying that these particulars or these attributes are having the unique column, that is bill id. Every bill has its own id,
Okay.
that is not that is unique and not null, because if you have an entry of the bill, that bill should have an id, so that is unique and not null, that we can able to take a decision that this is a primary key column, and all the objects or all the attributes are describing some information about this bill entity, so that we can able to make a decision that this is a dimension table. So
Mhm.
once we know that this is a dimension table, we can able to name it as a w underscore warehouse underscore bill underscore d. D is nothing but the dimension table. This is the naming convention will be in the usually in the data warehouse.
Mhm.
And the same, if you can take the same and data, if you can take the same data, let me remove this. If you can see the same data, I can able to analyze the customer as an entity
Mhm.
and date, bill date. Bill date is nothing but it is a time factor. It is
Yeah.
entering the date on the day on which bill has generated. So that means we can able to take it as a time factor. So we can able to say time or date dimension,
Mhm.
time and entity. So every business model or every data model or every business should have a time dimension created.
Mhm.
Time ID and uh, time ID and month name or week or day name, week ID and week name, and which week it falls on the month,
Mhm.
and month name, month ID and quarter and year, etc. We can able to try different types of things like year ago, quarter ago, month ago, like that. For a single day, we can able to add different types of information from the day,
Mhm.
hours, minutes. Also, we can able to add here.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. We can able to see here the time ID. Every day has its own date.
Mhm.
Like today is June 12 and 13, 14, like that. Every day will have a separate date,
Mhm.
so that we can able to take it as a primary key column, time id as a primary key column, and it is describing something about time factor, that is called
Mhm.
time dimension. We can able to make it as a time dimension. The same way we can able to consider the customer as an entity. Customer can have a customer id
Mhm.
and customer first name and
Mhm.
customer last name and customer full name and customer mobile number,
Mhm.
customer address, customer gender, and customer uh, address, gender, and customer email, etc. We can able to add many things, many attributes under this customer entity, and we can able to make a decision that this is a every customer has its own ID, and and the same ID cannot be assigned to the multiple customers. So that means it is a unique and not null, because if you enter any customer details, you have to pass an ID to the customer. Automatically, it is a
Mhm.
primary key column, and all the attributes are describing about the customer entity. So we can able to make a decision that this is a dimension table. So w underscore customer underscore dimension, and the same way we can able to take location. So the location can be location ID, location name, and region, sub-region, county, street, district, and pin code. Different types of attributes we can able to define for the location entity. The same way we can able to define the product. The product can be, every product can have a ID, product ID, and product name, and product description, and product ID, product name, product description, product expiry, product category, product subcategory, and product details, etc. We can able to add different types of entities or attributes about this product entity, and we can able to have make a decision that this is a dimension table because every product has its own ID, and product ID is a unique and not null. We can able to make it as a primary key column here, and this is dimension describing about the product entity, and which has a primary key column defined. So that is a dimension table. And the same way, if you can go to here, we can also able to create another table for the quantity and price. How to add this quantity and price into the table? That is, let us add into the one of the table. Let us assume that this is about the sales business. So I can say sales, and we have the quantity and price. I am able to add here, but this quantity and price for what? For the product, for the customer, for the particular day, for the particular bill. And how to get these details into this sales table? For that, what we can able to do, we are able to add these primary key columns of the dimensions into this sales table, because then only it will have the meaning in the sales table. For example, if any customer comes to the store and he buy any product, what we can able to store his details, bill number, bill ID can be stored into the sales table, and at what time he buy, time ID, and what is the customer ID, customer ID can be stored. And product ID, what is the product he buy, the product ID can be stored into the sales table. So that I'm going to add the bill ID here. Then only the table in the sales table data can be meaningful. Location ID, product ID. Yeah, these are the different types of IDs I have added here. And if you can take it as the sales table can have the duplicate data. Why? Why because why because the same customer and the same location and the same product can buy, the same location, the same customer, the same product can buy in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, for the different bill IDs. So that we can able to have the duplicate record. We can have the duplication on the column data. That is how we can able to store the different types of, we can able to design the data model by identifying the entities and attributes, and by taking a decision of primary key column and foreign key columns. And these columns, which are the primary keys on the dimension tables, can be called as a foreign key columns, because these are available in the some other table. So that we can call it as a foreign key columns. And if any table is having a foreign keys and some measurable columns, and on top of this quantity and price, we are able to apply some calculations. So that means this is a measure, you are able to define some calculations on this price and quantity. So if you have foreign keys and measurable columns, the table can be called as a fact table. So the naming convention will be W underscore sales underscore F. So we have the data model is ready, and we have the tables. And usually in the data modeling or data warehousing, the tables can be related depending on the primary key and foreign key relationships, so that we can able to do the join from the dimension to fact table. The bill ID equals to bill ID, time ID equals to time ID, customer ID is equal to customer ID, product ID equal to product ID, and the same way location ID is equals to location ID. The same way you can able to do the joins between the sales and facts and dimension tables depending on the primary key and foreign key relationship. So our data model is ready, our tables are ready, and we have the relational data warehouse available. And using the ETL process, we are able to load the data into the data warehouse. Our data up to now we have loaded it to the centralized location. On top of this, the customer wanted to do the reporting because his whole business data available into the from the store level. His whole business data available in the one centralized location, that is data warehouse. On top of the customer can able to do the decision by analyzing the different region sales, different country sales, different product sales, different customer sales, and different time factor sales in the different quarters, different season sales. On which season the sales are in best manner, on which product the sales are high, on which product we have to give the discounts, on which product is we are getting the losses, so that he can able to analyze the business and he can able to take a better decision. So this is where uh, to analyze the business on the warehouse, he has to run the different reports, different SQL statements. Every time he has to run the SQL statement to you wanted to get the data into export it into the Excel file. So to automate this whole process, what they have to do is they have a decision to take a they want to go with the reporting tool, which can able to come to this data warehouse and which can able to extract the data and which can able to display the data as information in the different types of formats: table format, pivot table format, graphs, horizontal bars, vertical bars, and pie graphs. What are the representation of whatever the type of representation the customer wanted to see, the type of representation the data has to provide, and the data has to be represented to the customer in a reporting tool. That is what the customer wanted to go with, the reporting tool. That is where the OBIEE comes into the picture. OBIEE is what? Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition. This is a reporting tool and it can able to come to the warehouse wherever the data is available, the centralized location, and it can able to run the different select statements depending on the requirement of the customer. We can able to populate the different types of reports. Those reports or analysis can be displayed in a dashboards, different types of dashboards. That is why we can call OBIEE as a interactive reporting tool, where we can able to have a interactive dashboards and interactive reporting features we have in the OBIEE.
Mm-hmm.
And OBIEE, what is OBIEE is doing is it is able to populate the different, it can able to come to the warehouse and it will display the data as information. And the OBIEE has two different types of main tools. One is repository. The repository can be called as a .rpd and it can be managed by this administration tool. This is the repository,
Mm-hmm.
and this repository can be having a three different types of layers: physical, business model, or mapping, and presentation layer. These are the three different types of business model. Actually, OBIEE also follows, this repository tool is following the Java architecture, that is called MVC architecture: modeling, viewing, controlling. That is, the modeling can be performed in the physical layer. You can able to import the whole metadata from the warehouse into the physical layer. The metadata is nothing but tables and columns. You are able to import it to the physical layer. On top of the tables, we are able to build the data modeling again through the joins, and then we can able to drag and drop the whole development into the logical layer. And here you are able to customize the business model, and we can able to define the different columns and different tables as per the requirements of the business. And then and that means you are able to apply the different logics here, business logics, and then you can able to display it for the presentation purpose in the presentation layer. The presentation layer is only for the presentation purpose, and what are the things you are able to display in the present, you are able to place in the presentation layer, those will be displayed in the analytics application. This is analytics application, and here we are able to create the different types of objects: analysis, dashboards, filters, dashboard forms, conditions, agents, actions, KPI, scorecards. Agent is nothing but a deliverable which can able to deliver the report to the end users through the email address on a particular scheduled time.
Okay.
And different types of things we can able to perform on the different categories: performance management, actionable intelligence, analysis, and interactive reporting.
Mm-hmm.
And we can able to build the reports in the different types of use, like tables, pivot tables, graphs. Graphs are again two different types. bar graphs, vertical bar graphs, and horizontal bar graphs, stacked bars, 100% stacked vertical, line graphs, area graphs, pie graphs, line bar graphs, time series, Pareto, scatter, bubble, radar, and waterfall. Different types of views or representation can be given for the customer as per the requirement. In gauges,
Mhm. Mhm.
gauge reports, vertical bars, horizontal gauges, dial gauge, bulb gauges, funnel graphs,
Mhm.
and maps, filters, and different types of views are there to represent the data as information. And this is one of the example to display the data as in the table view. Country-wise
Mhm.
sales.
Okay.
This is about overview of OBIE, and analytics application is useful for us to do the reporting. This is the analytics application. Repository can be managed by the manage can be created and modified in the administration tool. This can be we can get this is the installation.
Mhm.
An analytics application is a web-based enterprise application, and this is deployed into the WebLogic server in the 11G version. And you can able to access this analytics application using this URL: http://970/analytics. This analytics can be useful for us to build the different reports, and the use for the this can be accessed by the customer to do the analysis on the business in the different types of dashboards and different types of views. And history of OBIE. OBIE can be first released into the market by the enquiry systems. Enquiry systems has built this product, OBIE product, and they released into the market with the name as Siebel Analytics.
Mhm.
And from the Siebel Analytics, Oracle bought this product, and they released it to the market as OBIE 10G. That is Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition. They released into the market is 10G version, and then they have integrated this 10G version into the WebLogic server. The whole OBIE 10G version they have integrated into the WebLogic server, and they have given some high-level security features and high-level performance features in the 11G. That is called OBIE 11G version, and latest version of OBIE 11G is running on the market, running on the released by the Oracle is OBIE 11.1.1.9.0. This is the standard version released by the market recently. That is in, and 1 month back they have released this version, and this is not using in the market at the moment. They have just researches are going on, and it is fully qualified. Then only they will be installing into the live environment. Just released
Mhm.
1 month back, and currently in the market the version is running is latest version running is 11.1.1.7.0. This is the version is running on the running in the market right now moment, and our training will be on the 11.1.7.0 version only. There will be not much differences between 7 and 9. There will be some additional new features can be added. Apart from that,
Mhm.
there will be nothing much, and our training will be on the 7.0 version,
Mhm.
and that is about the history. And there are different types of installations, and we will be discussing about the types of installation and architecture in the
Mhm.
coming classes. If everything goes well, we will be discussing about these things in the coming classes, and the course will be completed in the 21 days. Actually, if continuously course is going on, it will be completed in 21 days. That means 3 weeks. And if you have any holidays, or if you have any leaves, we can be it can be 1 month. Course can be completed in 1 month.
Mhm. So you said, where can I see what are the topics you are covering?
Yeah. The topics we can cover is I will just okay.
Yeah.
Let me open the document.
And the other thing is how I will practice. Let us say you took a class for an hour and then I need to practice, right? So,
Yeah, these things you can just install it on your local machine, and you can able to do the practices.
and what is the requirement for local machine? Like when you say local machine,
Okay, your machine,
what?
the software requirements are
Well,
like hardware
I
requirements.
have my laptop like 5 6 years back. I didn't
Okay,
have any movement. So what needs to be what I need to have?
okay. Coming to the hardware specification, you should have the four minimum 4 GB of RAM to run your computer. I have 4 GB of RAM, and it will be little slow. If you have 8 GB of RAM, that is very fine, and a hard disk can be having a 50 or 100 GB is fine, and
Hmm.
coming to these software specifications, you should have installation of OBIEE, Oracle installation. Oracle database to be installed first. Enterprise edition of Oracle database should be installed. On top of that, we have to install the OBIEE. You need to download the OBIEE software from the Oracle website.
And will it run on XP machine or what is there? So
Sorry,
what on what thing you have right now?
I have standalone installation.
No, I mean what is your laptop specification? Like what is the operating system?
Yeah, I have Windows 7 version, and I have 4 GB of RAM and 500 GB of hard disk, which is
Because
hard disk.
here if I go to a shop and I ask them, they will say Windows 7 or 8 personal edition. Will that work?
I think in the Windows 8 we can install it, but uh, better to have a Windows 7 version in your machine.
Oh, 7.
Yeah,
Okay.
Windows 7, and better to have 8 GB of RAM so that it can be very fast. Otherwise, it will be little slow.
Okay. 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 So that means like once I can install on my laptop, then I can practice
Yeah.
anytime. Okay. But how do you see like when I'm okay, you will do that.
Sorry.
How do you see whatever the issues I'm getting?
How do you?
How do you resolve what are the issues I'm getting like whenever I'm working? If I have any questions or if I have any errors.
Yeah, I will share you the documents to install the OBI version. It's just like
Oh,
next, and uh, you can just go through the documentation. If you have any issues, we will be fixing it.